expansions and everything.
For the Alliance!
Okay. I've never been to a BlizzCon before, or like any convention really. The next chapter. Our adventure starts now.
For Azeroth!
World of Warcraft. Just World of Warcraft.
Hi everyone, I'm John Haidt, General Manager for Warcraft, and with me today are my friends Ian Hazacostas, who is the Game Director for World of Warcraft, and Holly Longdale, who leads up the production team for WoW Classic. I really appreciate you tuning in. I know we're really excited to be able to give you updates on what's happening in World of Warcraft. But first, I want to thank our community for all the feedback you've given us this year, and especially our Community Council. You've helped shape and influence the updates that we've done recently and what you're going to see in the upcoming year.
I mean, really, for Shadowlands in particular, the story of the last 9 months or so of this expansion is all about the community, and it's shaped by what we've been hearing from them, and us realizing as a team that we just collectively needed to do a better job of making sure the community felt heard, and so that led us to the changes we made in 9.1.5, but also really re-examining some of the assumptions and foundations of World of Warcraft about things like character investment and mains versus alts, or how catch-up should work, or the appropriate role of friction in our systems. And I think 9.1.5 represented a step in the direction of letting players have more freedom to play World of Warcraft the way they want to play it. And we really built our Eternity's End content update from the ground up around those principles.
What are some of the things that the community said that influenced your decisions for Eternity's End?
Things like the method and pacing of acquisition of the Covenant Legendary item, tons of tuning, and I think every step of the way, we were listening to make sure that we were carrying forward those lessons learned in the course of 9.1.5 into Eternity's End and beyond.
So WoW Classic was really came about because of the community.
Yeah, they continue to help guide and support us as Classic evolves.
World of Warcraft has always been about the world and the players that inhabit it, and we are in a lot of ways curators and caretakers of that journey and of that experience. And so once this Classic community formed and grew, we had to listen to them.
It's this tide of listening to the community and paying attention to what is a good experience for our players now. And where we really saw a sea change in this idea is with our Season of Mastery realm, which is a season of fresh start Classic.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
initially we were talking about it like it was going to be like a fresh start.
They could have done this better.
Experiment in a season. It'll be about a year long. And then when the community found out about it, we started seeing this upswell.
Yeah, the team just took that idea and ran with it and turned what started out as a small community project into this Soul of Iron system that became a centerpiece of Season of Mastery and a whole new opt-in hardcore mode that we've seen communities built around.
Oh, this is supposed to say plus, guys.
Thrilling victory and painful defeat.
5 hours. I made it 5 hours.
Yeah. And it continues, like Burning Crusade Classic. We wanted to balance the Paladin seals between Horde and Alliance, so we made an addition there. We wouldn't have gotten there without the community's input.
So, influence the community.
You guys want subtitles?
Another update, and
why is it German?
Pretty significant, controversial change for this.
Yeah, cross-faction play coming in 9.2.5. It's which is on a public test ROM now as a big centerpiece.
Cross-faction. You're breaking with a 17-year tradition.
Yeah, it's something. It was not an easily made decision by any means, and I think this is another one of those areas where really we try to take to heart community feedback and requests and ask ourselves as a team whether there's a way to accommodate such an earnestly held desire and still feel like we're being true to the roots of the game. I think players desire to play with their friends who might prefer a different faction, or to play with the faction that they more closely identify with, even though their raid group is elsewhere.
It's really important for me. I play a lot of alts, and I love absorbing the story for each race, and having that ability to play with all of my friends across factions is fantastic.
I get that for retail. I get that.
The battle cry is for the Horde. It's not against the Alliance. It's not death to the Alliance. It's about pride in one's faction. And I think there's a way to preserve that and even strengthen that while giving players the ability to make the same choice we've seen the greatest heroes make time and time again.
I can't wait to do this. I'm seeing a lot of my friends that I never knew had a max level character in the other faction suddenly come out of the woodwork.
And then, with these cross-faction groups, many of them are going to be diving into something new that we're doing to kind of cap off Shadowlands, a Season 4. Kind of a remix, a bit of a greatest hits, revisiting all of our raid zones across the expansion, bringing in some familiar older favorites into the Mythic Plus rotation. And we recognize this is kind of a closing chapter, a little bit of a send-off to Shadowlands. As everyone gets ready for what happens next, what will come next, want to give a fun new challenge for everyone to sink their teeth into.
I think really cool stuff for modern WoW players. I'm super excited about the gear upgrades that you're going to give me and the chance to go back and play some of those awesome raids.
There's a lot to explore. Very exciting.
For our next adventure in World of Warcraft, we're going to go back to Azeroth. We're going to a space with high fantasy. I mean, our fans have asked for this for a long time. This has been kind of the foundation of much of the lore of WoW. So without further ado, let's watch the cinematic.
Wait, I'm turning off the bingo. Let's watch it. I'm gonna turn it back on afterwards. 10,000 years ago. No.
The world has been sundered. It cries out in pain. We must go to its aid.
Yep, the dragons.
We entrust our ancestral home to you, the Watchers.
Yeah.
Let the land slumber, hidden even from our own eyes. You will feel our return in the waking of the land. Then you must light the beacon of Tearhold, lest the path home be lost to us forever.
What is this? Blizzard Entertainment presents. Now. Now. What's happening, man? So it's Titans, yeah? But something's gonna happen, but oh, he's tired. Okay, so he's activating that thing. Oh shoot! The Giga Chat! He's gonna do it himself, man. Is he gonna like... Dude! Actual Giga Chat! So what does this do? He's Thor? Oh no. Rock friend. Oh! There it is! Rock friend! Woo! Oh, he's so happy! Yeah, there's the dragons, man. There is the dragons. How to Train Your Dragon. Oh, it went from like so dark to...
healing. But her fate is yet uncertain.
It looks good though, like visually it looks really good.
Together, we shall be Azeroth's protectors once again. Here, the new age of dragons shall begin.
World of Warcraft Dragonflight. We all knew that. We all knew that. Let's be honest here. Okay.
Dragons!
Dragons!
This is so cool.
No one saw it coming.
No one saw it coming. Carefully kept secret. But
Okay,
seriously, I mean, what did we just see there?
The awakening of the Dragon Isles, the return of dragons, the dawn of a new age.
Do we have one?
Right, we've seen Rathian searching for his father's legacy, searching for the Dragon Isles. There's a reason why he hasn't been able to find them until now.
The beacon going off, is that summoning the dragons?
It is removing the concealment that had hidden the Dragon Isles from the world, but also beckoning the dragons back urgently in a time of need.
I assume pretty good variety of locales within the Dragon Isles?
Yes. The Dragon Isles, as kind of standard for WoW expansion, consist of 5 zones, 4 standard leveling zones, and a new starter zone that we'll get to in a second.
A new starter zone?
Can you talk a little bit about how the team found ways to thread the dragon aspects throughout the environments?
The Dragon Isles are a place that is lush and primal, bursting with elemental energy. As Azeroth herself reawakens, those primal forces are expressed throughout the environment, whether it's magma activity, volcanic activity, whether it's the icy wastes of the Azure Span.
Cool.
And each one of those has a connection to a Dragonflight that we've seen before.
Oh yeah, Azeroth reawakens!
Place for players
Azeroth
to
wakes
arrive
up
and explore.
Yeah, we got it.
I'm gonna ask.
Yes, okay, so...
Can I be a dragon?
Let's start getting into some features here and what Dragonflight means for you as well as just a place. So first off, yes, we have an all-new playable race, the Drakthir race.
Yeah.
No!
This is a dragon race, but dragons in Warcraft have the ability to take on a humanoid
No
form.
shot!
What classes can they be?
No
They
shot!
have unique abilities as literally a dragon. That doesn't quite fit any of our existing classes. And so what we're doing is this is not just a new race, but it's also a new class. You know, adding a new race to World of Warcraft, and not just an allied race, is something that we don't do lightly. But telling this expansion, this story, so focused around dragons, felt like the perfect time for it. So if you are a Drakthir, you will be the Evoker class. Drakthir can only be Evokers, Evokers can only be Drakthir. And the reason why only a Drakthir could be an Evoker is that an Evoker is really combining the ability to call upon the magic of the different aspects with the unique physical gifts that a Drakthir has. The ability to actually take flight and do an Onyxia-style strafing deep breath over the battlefield, land on the other side, knock everyone back with a wing buffet, and then unleash your magical abilities.
Yes, please.
The Evoker has 2 specializations. They're a hybrid of either ranged DPS or healer. And they wear male armor. We figured, you know, with the new hero classes we've added over the years, we have enough melee, we don't need more of those.
What?
And also probably don't need any more leather wearers.
Just one more melee.
Raid leaders are gonna love you for that.
Exactly. This is definitely a hero class. And so that means that
you can be a scaly boy
before them or demon hunters, they will be starting level 58, and then they're going to have a new starter zone. So they're going to have a slightly different journey into the Dragon Isles as opposed to the rest of us that are sailing there from other parts of Azeroth.
Can you talk a little bit about the customizations? Like what is going to be able to
change the
identify
scales?
my Drakthir character?
Basically anything and everything. You know, skin color, hair color, jewelry, tattoos, other adornments. You can make this character the expression of your identity.
And that does not look like,
new zone,
wow.
new class, new race. Well, tell us about some of the system updates or features.
So, of course, the new expansion brings with it, new systems, new
like
features.
At all.
I think in recent expansions, one of the things we've tended to do is really have these deep features that were closely tied to a specific expansion that would then get left behind as we moved on. And we've heard loud and clear from players that, it's kind of a bummer to start off every new expansion by leaving a large part of your character behind, by leaving a large part of your progression behind.
Okay.
So this time around, what we're doing
it can still be
is really
saved, guys. Like,
all of
it's
our
fine.
energy
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
into
Like,
permanent revamps,
don't worry about it,
overhauls,
guys.
and
Seriously.
improvements to World of Warcraft's core systems. Things like our progression systems, in this case, our talent system is something that we want to completely revamp. We want to take a look at our UI. We want to take a look at professions.
Was there a duck?
So with the talent revamp and the arrival of Classic, did you learn anything about how our talents work?
I think seeing a new generation of
New talent
players
tree?
play with those talents and work through those talent trees really underscored some of the things that, frankly, we lost. When
So they're
we
actually
shifted
gonna re-add
to the
talent trees.
Pandaria-style talents and beyond. A big
That's
piece
cool.
of that was some of just the granularity, the feeling of getting a level and spending a point to customize your character to make yourself a bit better in some specific way.
Oh, that's kind of
But
cool.
also, that sense of hybridity that you could have. That's something that we've largely lost. And so the new talent system avoids directly pitting player power throughput choices directly
kinda
against
cool.
those sort of utility hybrid
Druid
choices.
points, and you also have a talent like, that's
there.
cool. I like
And
that.
we also understand that
Okay, that's
there's
actually
a lot
sick.
of strength in the flexibility
I
of
like
the modern
that.
talent system to let
You
players
can make hybrid, like,
customize their talents for a particular encounter or for dungeons versus PvP, and we don't want to lose any of that.
So John, UI?
Oh my God.
That's cool.
Yes, I got this 30-inch monitor trying to keep track of where I am on the map, all my buffs, and over here, what's going on in chat.
New talent trees.
It has literally made my eyes go like this. So,
You're not alone in that. We've made a lot of incremental changes and additions over the years, but really this is a revamp, this is an overhaul. And so we're excited to really modernize the look and feel while staying true to the origins of World of Warcraft. Now at the same time, we're not looking to take away the sort of power user customization there. Add-ons are still there if you want them, but we want a much better default out-of-the-box experience for all players, new and old.
Okay.
and can I reduce elements, remove elements, if I want to explore the world and see the
That looks
beauty
so weird.
of Azeroth?
When it comes to specific elements, as much as possible, we want to let players
What?
choose what to show and what to hide so that they can control it themselves.
What?
You mentioned professions. I have a critical question.
That looks so weird.
Go on.
Can I wear a chef's hat?
Yeah, I knew it.
Our approach to professions in Dragonflight is really all about delivering on fantasy and identity as a crafter. And so if you want to be a serious blacksmith, if you want to be a great leather worker, we want to deliver the ability to invest time and energy into that, become a master crafter, be able to make items that are in demand, interact with the community. One of the big pieces that we want to do to support that is a new work order system to have a bit more convenience than just
That's
standing
cool.
trade chat all day.
I think,
But if
yeah.
you are someone, you're not yourself a blacksmith, but you have a bunch of mats and you want them forged into a great sword, you can put that work order up, list
Yeah,
your
make
mats,
professions
offer a
useful.
commission, and a skilled blacksmith can come along and make you the weapon of your dreams.
I think we left out one thing,
Yeah.
though. You can be a
That's cool.
dragtheer, go to Dragon Isles. Can I have a dragon?
What's the fantasy of dragons, if not soaring over the lands? And so we're really excited to introduce a feature that we're calling dragon riding. It's dynamic with everything from momentum to dive bombs, the ability to just sort of build that speed up and feel the world rushing past you in a way that should be much more exciting than traditional flight that we've made available in the past, but that's also available for players through a customizable dragon mount right from the start.
So this
You
is
can
a
fly from
skill
the beginning.
you learn over time, right, to become an awesome dragon rider?
Yes, you'll be able to sort of upgrade aspects of your flight, but you will have this new form of flight from the start. And the Dragon Companion that you have is, of course, very thoroughly customizable, which is a new thing for us for mounts. This is not just a generic dragon that everyone has, but a drake that is yours. What do you want its scales to look like, horns, the shape of its head, other attachments, armor pieces, and more. Take your pick.
This is so cool.
Cool. Yeah, I mean.
So the Dragonflight expansion is going to see players leveling to 70, going to the all-new continent of the Dragon Isles, which consists of 5 zones, 4 standard leveling zones, and a new starter zone for
zone.
our Drakthir class, as well as a range of systems revamps, such as a new talent system, an overhaul and update to our UI, and an entirely fresh look at professions with more depth than ever before. Also, getting around the Dragon Isles is going to come in the form of dragon riding, which lets you customize and upgrade your own mount so that you can fly in a sense from the start. And of course, as with any new expansion, we have a new set of dungeons, a raid, and much more to come.
We also have an alpha that will be starting up in the future.
Check out our website for more information, and keep an eye out for those opt-in signups if you want to help us test out Dragonflight and give us even more feedback to make it better.
We do have a deep dive that follows this, so please stay around. Classic players, we haven't forgotten about you. You could probably guess where we're gonna go next.
Yeah.
One of the all-time favorite expansions for World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Let's watch the cinematic.
Yeah, I'm gonna put off the bingo while I watch this. Did they remake it?
We had forgotten. Did you think we had forgotten? Nothing more. I can sit right here. Just begun.
Dude.
My king yet.
Would you do this?
It's so cool, man. I love Wrath. I love Wrath, man.
My son, the day you were born, the very forests of Lordaeron whispered the name Arthas.
Dude. Dude, they...
When my days have come to an end, you shall be king.
Dude. The classic adventure continues. 2022! That's the shit! I fucking knew it, man! November, I'm telling you. November.
It's just incredible.
What?
Isn't it? Every time I see the cinematic, I get
this
chills.
year.
No pun intended, I do. I get chills.
November.
As you saw, Wrath of the Lich King Classic is coming this year. It brings back so many memories.
This
When
year.
you see that cinematic, what do you remember from Wrath of the Lich King?
Anytime you want to talk about undead frozen dragons, how can you not go back to Sindragosa as the source? That was the first expansion I played with my youngest son. So I can remember
That's so
on
soon.
that platform, black goo and chunks of ice falling off and having to repeat that battle with the Lich King. But when we finally downed him, it was such an incredible moment. He jumped up out of his room and I jumped up out of my office. We're like, yeah, did it. So it's a very lasting tale for me.
So as you know, with this expansion, you will, in pre-patch, be able to play the Death Knight. They will start at level 55. You don't have to have a high-level character to make a Death Knight, so everyone will be able to make one.
We're excited to give players some time before Wrath officially launches to get geared up and ready to jump into Northrend.
Okay, I'll make it, dude.
And there are so many zones and areas to explore in Northrend, and I want us to talk about some of our favorites. So for me, Grizzly Hills has a very special place in my heart. The music was some of the best I've experienced in World of Warcraft.
I still make my way all the way up to Storm Peaks to try and find the time-lost Protodrake, and have yet to get it.
I've got to say Dragonflight. The wide open nature of the zone, Wormrest Temple in the center of it, it's an unforgettable expansion as both a developer and a player, and kind of making that transition from one to the other.
Now let's talk about some changes. So one thing we looked at is Dungeon Finder, and it feels like how we envision Classic, Dungeon Finder is not a good fit for our community.
That was kind of the first step that may have eroded some of that social fabric. Now, as people have gone through the experience of going back to vanilla, rebuilding those groups, relying on each other, not wanting necessarily a random participant just to show up and then leave.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
But today, you can do that in Shadowlands. You'll be able to do that in Dragonflight. It's a self-selected group of people who specifically want that different experience.
I like that.
Let's make sure that's what we can
Fuck yeah.
That leads right into arena teams in Burning Crusade Classic. So we listen to the community and we remove that because individual rating is preferable and a better experience for them than arena teams. Also, with Wrath of the Lich King, Barbershop, which allows you to customize your character. We're going to be adding a few more options that were not existing when Wrath launched, but also there's another side of this where we are not going to charge a real money fee. It was a paid character customization fee, right?
Yeah.
It seems the right thing to do that just be available in game for gold, and we add more options to it, right?
It's sort of like spell batching in a sense. There's a lot of technical advancements, and it's not about the philosophy of what makes classic classic and what brings people together. It's just what's the better experience, and let's not artificially restrict something that we can provide a better version of just for the sake of nostalgia. And we're happy to say this is one of those cases.
So Wrath, the level cap's being increased to level 80, so we'll be introducing a level 70 boost so that players who want to get in with their friends or just explore Northrend right away will be able to do that. You can't apply it to a Death Knight, but you will be able to use it otherwise.
Pass.
And of course, we have Inscription, a whole new profession, so we're really excited about that. Yeah, and as we continue this road to Wrath, we're going to be looking to getting a lot more feedback on beta, and we'll make changes as we need to.
Such an exciting time to be playing World
of Warcraft.
News.
We have the return of the Wrath of
Lich King for classic fans, and taking us somewhere new with Dragonflight. We're so excited to be able to bring these adventures to you. Don't forget, there's a deep dive on Dragonflight where you're going to get a lot more information.
This year.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us, and we'll see you in Azeroth.
And we'll see you in Northrend.
And in the Dragon Isles.
Dragonflight deep dive starts now. Bro, this year!
Hi there. Welcome to the Dragonflight Deep Dive. I'm Steve Denuser.
And I'm Taryn Gregory.
Alerts are off
Starting
right
it
now,
off
guys.
here,
Alerts
we're
are
going
off
to
right
talk
now.
about
I
the
appreciate this
setting and the story of Dragonflight.
We've got this great expansion, exciting pre-render trailer that everyone just watched. So let's talk about the setting for Dragonflight, the Dragon Isles.
Dragon Isles have been known for a long time in Warcraft history as a mysterious place where the dragons came from long ago, but we never knew much more than that.
We're going to this place that is kind of the broodlands of all the Dragonflights, the place where they nested, where they built their civilization. The Dragon Isles was the center of the Dragon's kingdom when the world was young and the mortal races were just starting to form kingdoms of their own. But when the Legion invaded for that War of the Ancients, that sundering that resulted from the explosion of the Well of Eternity, broke the world.
Literal sundering of the continents of Azeroth.
And because of the breaking of the world, that magic kind of drained away and the land went dormant. So they had to leave the Dragon Isles behind. And as we saw in the pre-render, they left behind some Titan Watchers to look over the land. And when someday they hoped that elemental energy would resurge once again and draw the dragons home and reestablish their kingdom.
And that's when the message goes out to the flights and they feel it in their bones.
Now it's the time for the sky to light up with the colors of the aspects once again, and for Alex Straza and the others to come home. But the land has changed a lot in all these thousands of years they've been away, and some very old threats have awakened as well.
We're looking into the culture of dragons as they exist in Warcraft.
Dragons as we know them today were very different in the early past, the early history of Azeroth. They were much more primitive, much more savage, what we now know as proto-dragons.
I don't know if that counts.
Some of the dragons were empowered to become the aspects. The green flight, red flight, blue flight, bronze flight, black flight, each with unique powers, each with the ability to protect the world in different ways. These pillars of draconic power appointed to defend Azeroth from threats within and without.
Dragons used that power both for good, in the case of most of the aspects, but also for nefarious reasons in the case of the Black Dragonflight led by Neltharion, who would become Deathwing.
And what we will find in Dragonflight is that some of these ancient divisions run deep. And so it begs the question, where do we go from here? If this is an opportunity to reclaim their legacy, to be the protectors, as the cinematic mentioned, that they once were.
To do that, they're going to need the help of our heroes, our players, to come to the Dragon Isles with them and face some of these reawakening challenges, because it's not just that this land is peacefully waiting for the dragons to return and reclaim it. There's those old enemies that have awakened as well.
Yeah.
One of those being a race of kind of elemental half-giants, the Jarradin.
The Dragon Isles isn't just populated by dragons or just by the Jarradin. There's also many other occupants here in the Dragon Isles that have been here either just recently or for a while, including a fan favorite coming back, the Tuskar.
That's going to be awesome. We've got other cultures there as well in the Dragon Isles. We're going to find out about a civilization of centaurs that predates the ones that arose on Kalimdor much later.
And some of our favorite characters that we've seen over the last few expansions, such as Rathian.
And whether he's ready to step up into a leadership role, or if there are other alternatives out there that would be better suited to the job of being the aspect of the Black Dragonflight.
I think one thing the players are going to be really excited about this expansion is the new playable race, the Drakthir.
That's right.
This is something that Neltharion, before he was Deathwing, before he went full crazy world dragon, that he put into motion?
Neltharion saw those primalists that were kind of breaking away from the aspects and what they wanted. And so, in those first experiments, he took the essence of dragons, their strength, their nobility, their wisdom, and he combined it with that scrappiness, that adaptability that the mortal races had. And he wanted to use that to create the ideal soldier in his mind, the Drakthir. Exploration is really one of the key themes of this expansion. We're going to be going to this ancient place that the dragons left behind long ago. So we've made these huge zones with all kinds of places to delve into and find little treasures and little secrets tucked away. It's gonna be a lot of fun for players to be exploring these landscapes.
And there's so much architectural history and how clearly aspirational was the kingdom of the dragons and how it lost so much. And the themes of trying to return to that, to try to find your legacy, to try to figure out who you were before everything went awry. But there's questions, you know, thematic questions of what does it mean to be true to your legacy? Are we going to repeat the mistakes of the past?
The dragons have had to learn those lessons just like the mortal kingdoms have had to. And I think that's one of the reasons why the dragons see this now as the time that they have to return and they have to step up once again as protectors of Azeroth. We're helping the dragons because the dragons have helped us in the past too. So by using the Explorers League and the Reliquary together, that allows us to delve into some of that history.
And when I look, you know, upon the Dragon Isles and all of its visual splendor, I get so excited for the prospect of a truly Azerothian adventure alongside Kalecgos, along with Rathian, Ebonhorn, with Ysera's daughter Marithra, as each one of them is trying to find their own flight. I am taken by the exploration and the potential for adventure and just new horizons within this world.
There's going to be old stories from that time past, that history that only the dragons knew for the longest time. We're going to be able to explore that.
It really feels like just a breath of fresh air.
So now we're going to turn things over to some of our colleagues who will take you on that deep dive into the locations and the features of Dragonflight.
Okay. Waking Shores on Shallop.
Hello, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Josh.
I'm Jackie.
And I'm Gary.
And we're part of the teams that are building the first two zones that you'll encounter in the Dragon Isles, the Waking Shore and the Onaran Plains. The very first zone in Dragonflight you're going to come to is the Waking Shores. Okay. It's wild, untamed land. It's waking up around you too, and the elements are just going crazy.
The art team, again, has hit it out of the park.
You'll see like a lava mountain flowing in through the beach, giant proto-dragons swooping down, gobbling up members of your expedition.
We have such rife opportunities to show elementals rising up because of the crazy magic that's flying around.
The one of the things I love is just how you get to the Dragon Isles, right? So you're gonna get on your boat in Stormwind or Orgrimmar, and the first thing you do is sail between like the dragon ruin architectures. The boats come right alongside each other. You can jump from one boat to the other and just start causing havoc on the other faction's boat.
For those who love PvP, this is a great opportunity for war mode.
It's free for all out there. It's gonna be great. But it's okay. There's an innkeeper on the beach, so that if you're in that situation and you don't want to be in war mode anymore, you can just hop out right there.
Like, the Reliquary and the Explorers League are working together.
The Horde and Alliance are sending an expedition together. It's not the military, it's not the soldiers. This is the scientists, the settlers, exploring this new land. So it's a lot more optimistic. I'm just trying not to talk over what they're saying,
One of my favorite things about the Waking Shores is the Red Dragonflight, led by Queen Alexstrasza, the Lifebinder. They have the mandate of nurturing and protecting all life, which means Horde and Alliance, Gorloks, trolls, everybody. So they take that duty seriously. When the Horde and the Alliance come to the Waking Shores, they want to be there to help guide the people through the new land and welcome them. But they're not the only one in the Waking Shores.
We have the ancestral home of the Black Dragonflight there too, which has fallen on tough times since Deathwing's descent. And so Rathian's coming over to the Isles with us. And he's going to try and come to terms with the state of the Dragonflight, which is a few loyal Draconids and Dragon Spawn trying to hold their ground.
Naturally.
What can the future of the Dragonflight be if it's just Rathian? Because it's not just the dragons that are coming back to the Dragon Isles, but also their longtime rival, the Jarden.
I love the Jarden so much. They're half-giants that wield the power of magma, and when the Waking Shores and the Dragon Isles went to slumber, they also slumbered. They're back now, and they are ready to raise chaos.
Yeah, they're massive. They're riding giant lava mammoths, parading around, just stomping on your face.
And they were the enemies of the Dragonflight for so long. They fought against the Red Dragonflight, hunted dragons down, and they're really taking this opportunity to rise up. As the Red Dragonflight have the mandate of nurturing life, they don't want to just stomp out the Jarden completely, but they want to make sure that they don't have the power to affect those around them negatively, to make sure they don't go on a rampage and destroy the ecosystem that has been created here.
And so those are awesome things in the Waking Shore, but Steph, there really is only one right answer for the best thing in Waking Shores, right?
What?
This is true. Ducks.
Oh! Finally have those webbed feet hooligans in our game. We cracked the technology. We've got them.
Figure it out. They
Yep.
can fly.
You should be proud.
Thank you.
Ducks and whoa!
It's gonna be awesome.
The Onaran Plains come right after the Waking Shores.
That's the,
It's so breathtaking at first
that's the
glance.
highlight of
The
the entire
Onaran
expansion.
plains are big, wide open plains.
That's it, man, I'm playing.
And the player is going
Where's the
to be
battle pass?
constricted a little bit, and then you see this
playing,
big
dude.
contrast of a zone. We don't always get that opportunity,
What?
that cinematic moment where the player
so
can have
cool.
a framed view when they see
There's
this area.
ducks.
Come out and you got that postcard shot
love
of the
that.
plains.
Why didn't we have a bingo
And
for
then
that?
you see this giant fire proto-dragon
That's so cool.
breathing fire, and a herd of centaur like harpoon down the proto-dragon and crash into the ground.
should've had a-
And the first thing you get to do is go help them kill the proto-dragon. Like, how cool is that?
Who is Onara?
Onara is the wild god of the wind.
I didn't want to
She's
edit.
appeared
Man, I'm so
before as
stupid.
like
I'm
this
sorry.
big spirit eagle. She's the one who guided the centaur to the
okay,
Dragon
that's my
Isle
bad then. Sorry,
many,
guys.
many years ago. She blessed them, took their caravan across, and then showed them the plains.
How fun at the beginning of this expansion was exploring the culture of the centaur.
The centaur are these mighty, awesome hunters that, back when they first came to the Dragon Isles, they fought the green dragons all day long. Eventually, they realized that we're strong, you're strong, maybe we should stop decimating each other's people. We'll make peace, we'll make an agreement. You guys hang out in the groves, and the centaur will hang out in the plains. But now, the dragons have been gone for 10,000 years. And the centaur have come so far since then. And they've been here, and they've been existing and developing their culture. They all came over as one clan led by the mighty Maruk and Tira, and they founded a new life here.
Okay.
So if you want to get across, you have to follow their rules and their traditions. You have to earn their trust. You are the
Ducks, though.
first outsiders to come in generations upon generations. The centaur might rule the open plains, but the green dragons make their home in the groves. And those groves are absolutely gorgeous.
And how great a job it is that we have where I can take all of this beautiful artwork and build these beautiful fantasy
adding you to
groves,
the
high
Warcraft channel?
fantasy. We want to do lots of things with an open plane, and we want to be creative with that.
That's funny.
But we're restraining ourselves by letting
cool.
the zone
like in the
sing,
Switch
letting
channel
the
probably, right?
horizon tell the story. We certainly couldn't have done that in the vanilla WoW.
No, definitely not.
Look at
The
ducks,
zones
dude.
are so big, and you can see so far,
Duck flight.
especially in Onaran Plains.
Duckflight.
So we talked to the engineers, and we actually increased that distance.
Duckflight.
It spurs you on to want to adventure and look through the zone and explore everything.
The interesting thing for me is
That's
we
so
have
good.
all these conflicts with the Dragonflights.
Yo!
There's missing dragons, there's battles, there's so much crazy stuff happening, but that's not really all we're doing. There's so much extra fun activities for people to do. And the greatest thing is that you need to figure out exactly what's going on and help solve all the problems that are just sprouting up everywhere.
We're just really excited to tell a story that's grounded in Azeroth and exploration. There's so much more to talk about. But now, we're gonna have some folks talking about the next two zones that players are gonna experience in the Dragon Isles.
Okay. Dude, ducks in the game, guys. That's actually badass. I can't believe
everyone.
Wrath
My
is
name
this
is Kate.
year.
I'm Christy. I'm Kate.
What?
I'm Sean. We're going to talk today about Valdrassus and the Azure Span. So Azure Span is going to be the third zone that players adventure through, and it's one of our biggest zones that we've done in the Dragonflight, maybe even to date.
We knew it was going to be like the largest visual elevation change, and it really started with this great concept art. When we first were taking a look at the design, we kept coming back to one of our favorite Wrath zones, which was Grizzly Hills. And we really wanted to take that, but wowify it more. And I don't know if you've ever been up to the Bay Area, but in the morning, that coastal fog comes in and dips down into the redwoods and that sun shines through. That's really what we wanted to encapsulate with this forest. And not only we have redwoods, but we've got all different types of trees. Eventually, it'll break open into this wide open tundra that's just golden and red, and you'll reach up to another level of elevation where you get to see the snow. The majority of the zone is covered in snow and ice. We have giant frozen waterfalls, ice rivers as far as the eye can see. And Sean, I know in the forest, we can expect our first creatures.
We have a small group that lives there called the Gnolls. These gnolls are all throughout the forest and Azure Span. They've made this their home. Some gnolls with strange magic that we're going to find out what exactly that's about. Snow gnolls, or as I call them, the snolls, up in the winter area. And then some regular gnolls that are just going to be around the forest area. So then we go into the big open tundra where we meet our second group, the Tuskar.
It's going to be really neat to explore their culture a lot more.
And those kids are adorable. I absolutely love the Tuskar. Honestly, all my downtime's probably just me hanging out with the Tuskar.
So it's been a little while since we've seen them. We remember the Tuskar from Wrath of the Lich King. They're also getting a nice, cool upres for their models.
Literally Wrath,
along with expanding their culture. So there are going to be male Tuskar, female Tuskar, Tuskar kids. So we're going to fight alongside them, which includes help from a certain group of dragons, the blue dragons. We're going to follow the story of Kalagos, our blue dragon buddy from the Kirin Tor, and he's going to be adventuring into Sindragos' archives. It's a giant zone. There's a lot of surprises. When we're done there, we head over to Aldrazes.
Aldrazes. It's really incredible because you will be going through some of the previous zones and seeing a lot of ruins for the dragon buildings. But when you get to Aldrazes, everything is perfectly intact. It's beautiful. It's pristine. It is the seat of power for all 5 dragonflights and home of the dragons. It feels that way with the huge vertical mountains. We've got these great cave systems where you may end up finding little dragon hordes.
My favorite dragonflight right now is the Bronze. They've got a really cool area in Aldrazes, and their magic is time. There's so many cool story hooks that we could dig into there. There's so many cool gameplay options. And we have a little bit of an adventure for players. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
We really wanted it to feel like their old stomping grounds. One of the really cool features is going to be the main city and player hub for this expansion, Valdrakken. It is a culmination of all of the dragon's efforts to put together what a city would look like. So we ended up having a bunch of really fun small vignettes where you can see that the blue dragonflight is hosting a public library, and the red and green dragonflights both have their own separate gardens. We'll also have some convenience services for players, including an auction house in the city, which will be really nice if you're looking for more exotic wares. The thing that really sold me on Aldrazes was the initial concept art we got of Tierhold.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And this is a 10,000-year-old Titan technological marvel. Tierhold has these awesome aqueducts that actually come out from the structure all the way to the city across the valley. And in the cinematic, there's just this amazing shot where you see Alexstrasza swoop under one of them, and there's splashes of water cresting across your wings. So when players are flying around themselves, they get to have their Alexstrasza moment. What an incredible place, and filled with so much history.
Tierhold was built by Tyr. He was a Titan Keeper back in the day who helped the Aspects fight Galakrond. And when they settled on the Dragon Isles, he built this facility. And even though Tyr's gone, the dragons have held him in reverence. But that was 10,000 years ago, and they've let the Titans maintain the place. An incredible amount of history has happened since then. Flights have been nearly wiped out. There have been invasions, betrayals. Aspects have died. And these are the kind of things that leave marks on a society. So now they're all back here, and they're all here together.
As we were designing the zone and the city itself, we're trying to figure out, how do we tell those stories at the same time as making sure that this is a really convenient place for players to go and, go shopping, as they tend to do. So much adventuring happening on the Dragon Isles.
It's so cool.
As a player, you probably don't have your own dragon wings. You are going to learn the art of dragon riding.
It's so vertical, and I'm just excited to dive off the tops of towers and swoop under things.
It's actually one of the things that we're about to learn about next.
So it's like flying 2.0 basically, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jake.
I'm Andy.
Hi, Jake.
I'm Kali.
And I'm Graham. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about the Drakthir Evoker, our new race and class coming in Dragonflight.
We're here to talk about not only the Evoker, but also dragon riding, which is our exciting expression into the exploration of the Dragon Isles.
We knew with a dragon-themed expansion, we wanted to let you play a dragon. Not a big dragon, Alexstrasza size. That'd be tough to fit into raids. I'm sorry, Jake.
Okay.
I know.
Fine.
But a draconic humanoid. So the Drakthir, created by Neltharion.
And like our other hero classes, you get to choose if you want to start on the Horde or Alliance side on character creation.
So let's talk a little bit about the Evoker, the class they can be. What's unique about it is because the Drakthir are created by an aspect, they have the ability to wield the magic of all 5 Dragonflights. So Evokers can take advantage of red magic and blue magic and bronze magic.
And to show that, we created a visual, what we call a prismatic effect. This prismatic effect is basically the coalescence of all their energy as they channel it into whatever spell that they're going to cast. You have a red magic spell called Pyre. So when you shoot it out of your mouth, it twirls in the air with all 5 of the Dragonflight's magic as it turns into the red spell before landing on your enemies and exploding and hopefully burning them.
I'll take that one.
Getting that vibe across that they use all 5 was really important to us, but we did want to make sure that each specialization focused on 2, because casting 5 different colors gets a bit messy. So their damage dealer specialization, their first of 2, Devastation, mostly focuses on red and blue magic. Red being very fast and explosive, burning everything with Pyre, whereas blue is more focused and overwhelming. You can shoot a beam of energy out of your mouth to disintegrate one single enemy in front of you.
There's a healer spec called Preservation. The healer spec is going to focus mostly on your green and your bronze magic. So your green is going to be evocative of the Emerald Dream, your growth and your nurturing spells. And then you have your bronze magic, which is going to be more timey-wimey. So you get to heal a wound faster.
So in addition to the visuals and the animation, which all make you feel very powerful, we really wanted the player to have a physical connection to the cast. We have a new type of spell called Empower, where when you actually hold down the button on your keyboard, it charges up the spell. The longer you charge it up, it might do more damage or hit more targets depending on the spell, but it gives you this really physical connection and control that's new for World of Warcraft, and I think is feeling really, really good.
We have some great animations. Thank you, Andy. You're
You love it, Andy.
You feel physical when you're casting your spells.
You can actually fly around the battlefield and cast while you're flying.
Raining fire and death from above. It's great.
No.
In addition to the gameplay, though, another part of feeling draconic is looking like a dragon.
Well, we talk about dragons breathing fire, but you know what's actually fire?
What's actually
These
fire?
customizations.
Oh my goodness.
But no, they're really, really
They're
cool.
awesome.
Because you have both your draconic form and your humanoid form. And the customization options for both of them are amazing.
They're very good.
What about color? Just tell me you
tell
can
us about the
change
colors.
color.
You can do a lot of matching. So your Visage form can have scales that are the same color as your Drakthir form.
But my favorite, super favorite part of customization for the Visage form, hair.
I wanted rock boys,
Because I can actually do this in game.
The tech is here.
We finally did it.
As players make their way through each of the areas of the Dragon Isles, they'll partner up with the Dragonflights to move through the air as they've never done before. You'll notice I did not say flying, because flight has a very specific meaning for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it does.
And
So it's
we're
like a
talking about
glider.
something new called dragon riding.
And as the players are honing their dragon riding skills, they're going to get to see all new animations that go along with the different look and feel of the drakes.
We're aiming
Like
to
Guild Wars?
shake up movement with this new system,
Are they just
providing
stealing
players with a
stuff from
deeper
other games
immersion
now?
with forces like momentum and gravity.
We knew that for Dragonflight, we were going to have the opportunity to show players a whole new set of Dragon Isle drakes, completely unique from all the other things they've seen in World of Warcraft. And so we wanted to come up with a movement system that would add
StarCraft
that
is
sense
literally a
of
copy
physics,
of Warhammer
weight,
40K,
and gravity,
right?
like you were
So-
mentioning. We knew it was going to take a huge team effort, not just animation, but it was going to take effects. It was going to take the engineering team, who we rely on heavily, and that combined with some new animations really helps to lend that feeling of physics as you move through the air
that's
in ways
kinda
that you
cool.
haven't before. And the icing on the
It's
cake
cool.
is going to be some really cool effects that we've added on top of all of that. So for example, when you start hitting maximum velocity, you're going to see contrails coming
It is
off
cool,
the
though.
edges of the wings. And then as you do your rolls and spirals, you build up more and more speed. There's going to be some screen effects on the display to indicate that you're reaching maximum velocity, which really
All memes
adds
aside.
to the overall kind of immersion and sense of reality.
As players make their way through the Dragon Isles, they'll discover new cosmetic options to fine-tune their Dragon Isle Drake's appearances. Things like snoots,
We can make cum
horns,
trails?
tails,
Cum
elusive
trails.
Dragon Isle Drake armor, and more. Can I have spikes? Definitely. Okay. We want to provide players with all new skills to play with, as those who can use their momentum well can reach higher and higher heights, and bring on new, more difficult challenges.
We just have so many new gorgeous options to choose from, and I'm just so excited for all of them.
I'm excited for the whole thing. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to work on,
This
but
is my listening
I can't wait
phase.
to actually get in the game, play
attention.
it with you guys.
I can't wait. I can't wait to fly around Dragon Isles. This is gonna be great.
Next up, you're going to hear about the talent revamp and the UI changes coming in Dragonflight.
UI, I saw the UI. I was not a big fan of that. I won't lie, but I guess we'll see.
Hello, my name is Brian.
I'm Crash.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Laura. We are very excited to share we are finally revamping the WoW HUD UI.
And it is also time for a major revamp to talents and specializations.
I have a big question for the group. How long do you think it took for us to finally revamp the WoW HUD?
My guess is like 15 years.
Close, 18
That'd be nice.
years.
18 years.
18 years.
Be nice, guys.
You know, technology has changed a lot since we made the UI back in 2004. Now you have like bigger monitors, and us, we have better dev tools to work with.
Don't
so
be
it
rude,
makes
yeah.
sense to have the revamp right now. Also, if you look at the game today, the art evolved beautifully over the years. And if you look at the HUD looks like it got frozen in time.
So when we approached this, we wanted to create a layout experience that players could customize, move things around, adjust it to fit their needs.
Add-ons today, they do a lot for player customization.
The downside is that not everybody uses them. It's about time that everybody has the opportunity to use them, that they become a part of the base UI.
Yeah, and we are working very closely with our user research team to make sure we are hitting the goals that our player needs.
It allowed us to add new functionality, to improve accessibility in a lot of areas.
I mean, we have
and
add-ons for that,
on top
yeah.
of that, we are going to be improving the art.
Yeah, so
For the
art
UI,
update,
there's
it's a
add-ons,
big
right?
part of this project. The UI that we have today has a lot of charm and personality, and players have been using that for 18 years. So with
can't
that
wait
in
to get
mind,
add-ons
we
for
want to
old
respect
UI.
the players who really like the
I
current
know.
UI, but do a more than take to it. Removing the clutter and giving more visibility for your gameplay. So the new minimap, it looks bigger, and the health bar is also much bigger. If
It
you
looks
look at
weird.
the action bars and the bottom menus, they have less head frames, and you can really open up your gameplay, so you don't have a lot of your UI in front of you. And of course, we want to find iconic pieces from the current HUD, but we want to bring it back in a nice way. So we for sure updating the griffins. They look so nice now. And the horde,
I always
don't
remove the
worry,
griffins, man.
we got you. We're gonna have your version as well. So let's talk about the edit mode.
Okay, I mean, that's
We
cool.
are putting a mode in that will let players move various HUD elements around on the screen.
So I'm able to move the mini-map, say, from the right corner all the way over to the left corner. If I want to bring my action bars from the bottom and kind of put them more in the center by my character, those are all things that I'll be able to do.
Absolutely. And each of those different components will have various sets of options that you'll be able to work with. They'll be able to save it, edit it, copy it, name it. Also,
Okay, I mean-
it'll remember which spec you're in. So if you're someone who jumps around a lot, as you switch, it will switch to whatever HUD layout you have for that spec.
This is an ongoing project. We're gonna keep
like full
working
freedom
on
would be
it.
better,
so
obviously, right? Just
we really
you
want to
change
hear back
whatever
from
you
you.
want.
A project that we're all excited about that we've been collaborating a lot on is something that's pretty UI intensive, and that's the talent system.
It hadn't changed in a long
Interesting.
time, like you said before. And we really started with, how can we have players have more choice over what their character has?
As you level up, we give you a new spell or a new ability, something that kind of makes you stronger, but it's determined by the designers. We decide the order.
Yeah, we started looking for a system that would give players a much wider set of options.
And after looking at all those things, what we really returned back to was the idea of trees. But it's actually two trees. We have a class tree that offer different class utility, and then we have a spec tree that is focused on performing
cool,
your role,
I
whether
think.
that's damage, tank, or
Depends on how
healing.
it
Can I
works
just
out,
jump
right?
in
But-
and say that I personally am super excited about having trees come back. There's a big
I like
nostalgia
trees.
hit for me.
As we said, we have these two trees
Yeah,
because we
it
feel
could be
like
good.
picking a specialization
It does
is a
look
really
cool, I agree.
important part of your World of Warcraft character now. And so we want to make sure that when you choose that,
yeah,
it kind
it's
of
early to
affects the
tell.
tree in some way.
Yeah, as soon as you open your talent tree, you'll see something new. The class side will have some abilities filled out for free, just kind of starting you off in that spec you've chosen, but then you'll have your first point to spend in the class tree, which could be something related to that spec or role, or it could be something from elsewhere in the class.
There's a lot of things that we can do here, and part of that is encouraging players to perhaps make combinations that they've never really been able to see in the game before. This is an opportunity to put a lot more art and fantasy in the actual talent UI itself.
You have seen that a lot through most recent expansions, but not the base UI.
We want you to be able to tinker with it. We want you to be able to make a lot of changes at a lot of times and not necessarily have to commit. The power really is coming back to the player. It's not something we want people to feel locked into, and so one of the things that we'll be preserving is the ability to change these talents at the same kind of frequency that you do now.
Yeah, the old school players, when you see trees this time, just think, yeah, I'll go from my raid night to my arena match and figure out what I think is the best for both of those.
And that's a process we want to make really fluid. So we're building a save load feature that lets you create your build, name it, save it, and then load it up very quickly and freely.
Talents were really about the breadth of options.
I like that.
We've made all these different cool things over the years, but when are they at their coolest? It's when players can hold the building blocks of what can make up their class, their spec, and put them together in a way that works for them.
So these are really cool features that we've been working long and hard on. We're very excited about them, and it's just an early preview of the things we've been doing. We can't wait to see the reaction that you have to them, and please reach out to us and let us know your thoughts on them. And next up, we're going to talk about professions in Dragonflight.
Talent trees were cool. I like that. That was actually, I dig that.
Hi,
so far.
I'm Joanna.
And I'm Eric, and we're going to talk about our plans for professions in Dragonflight. Professions have been a staple of World of Warcraft forever, and they've seen lots of really cool incremental updates over their life. But for Dragonflight, we want to do something a bit different. We really want to rethink professions and figure out how to make them part of your identity as a player.
Remove this now, Bingo?
We really want to make sure that professions feel fun and relevant across all levels of gameplay.
That brings us to our first update, something that we're calling crafting orders. If you want to have something crafted for you, but you don't have the skill or the right profession to do it for yourself, you can have it crafted through a crafting order. You can basically browse any of the recipes that can be crafted, pick the one you want for yourself, and then you include some or all of the reagents needed for the recipe, including ones that only you can get your hands on. You can find someone in person to do it right in front of you for you. Or you can also go to an NPC and using an auction house-like interface, send the order out. If you're doing this, you can pick, do you want to send the order to anyone, to a public order, or do you want to only send it to your guild, or to a specific other player? Maybe it's a friend who you know will be able to craft the item really well for you.
If you are really dedicated to your craft, you're going to be the best at what you do.
One of the coolest things about this is the item you had crafted can also be soul-bound. In the past, you could only get your hands on crafted soul-bound items by having that profession yourself. Now anyone can have them crafted for them, which is really neat and really expands the number of items that we can provide that are really powerful because everyone can have them crafted through the crafting order system.
This is also really cool because it means as a crafter, you can start building your client base. People are going to come back to you to get certain items. Maybe you're the best at making it, or you always throw in a little something extra. You're also going to be leveling up your profession. It's going to be really great.
So the first time you go to craft, you're going to notice a lot of different things, but probably the biggest is the introduction of quality, both to your crafted items and your gathered reagents. Quality works in a pretty simple way. If you craft something that's a higher quality, it's just going to be better. For a piece of gear, that probably means a higher item level. If it's, for instance, a potion, that might mean a more powerful effect at a higher quality.
And we're doing a lot of new things in the UI. We've put a lot of work into it to make sure that the professions feel really special and unique.
And another thing you might notice in the crafting UI that's new is the introduction
as long as it's not
of
too
stats,
bad,
specifically to your professions, both crafting
if it's a
and
little
gathering.
bit, then
this is another
cool.
major input into quality. Probably the biggest source of your ability to craft items at a higher quality
looks so
is
cool, by the way,
through
in the back.
crafting specializations. We've had
It's so
crafting
in the middle of the
specializations in the
screen.
past, as far back as original World of Warcraft. With Dragonflight, you can go out and earn specialization points in a whole bunch of different ways. So maybe you find an old book on a bookshelf in a ruin somewhere, or a hermit in a cave who can teach you a little bit about your profession. So let's say you're a blacksmith. You might decide that first you want to become an armor smith. And the more points you spend in armor smithing, the better you're going to get at crafting all armor.
This also means that if you specialize one way, other people in your guild may specialize in completely different paths. So this means that your guild could have several top blacksmiths and everybody is providing something unique and valuable to the team, which is really cool.
Now that reminds me of another update we're actually adding crafting tables to all the different crafting professions. We're gonna take those and we're gonna put them all in the main city of Valdrakken. And you're gonna go in there and you're gonna get to see all the different players crafting their items at their cool crafting tables.
Minecraft.
Yeah, it means you're gonna walk into the city and you're gonna see like all these alchemists huddled over here, and you're gonna see all these blacksmiths over by the forge. There will be other players filling orders or grabbing orders. It's gonna be a whole new crafting area that's gonna make you feel really part of the world.
It just seems like a much more lively area than it has in the past.
What I'm most excited about, though, is the gear. We're introducing new types of gear for every profession, and when you go to, say, mine and node, you're actually gonna just switch into that gear. It's gonna be really great.
You're not gonna have to carry that stuff around in your backpack anymore. There's actually gonna be dedicated slots for each of your pieces of gear. But I'm a numbers guy, I love progressing. All pieces of profession gear will have those special stats that we mentioned before on them. And as you get your hands on better versions of the gear, it's really gonna help you get better at your profession.
I can't wait.
Thank you for tuning into the Dragonflight Deep Dive.
You've heard a lot about the content and changes coming in Dragonflight, and we've got a lot more in store for you in the coming months.
Until then, we'll see you in Azeroth.
Learn more worldofwarcraft.com. I mean, more profession stuff is cool. Like, if they make professions matter more, I like that. I mean, if they stole the idea, they probably did, let's be honest. But I mean, more professions and like more stuff like that is badass, right? That was it. That was it. Yeah, that was the whole thing, boys. I think there are some cool things. There was also some... Obviously, the Wrath stuff was insane. I feel like all they did with the Wrath thing was good. I just can't believe it's coming out this year. That is absolutely crazy. I said crazy, insane. Like, Wrath is coming out this year, guys. 2022. I like the Wrath change. I think the Wrath stuff is really cool. I think it's coming out very early, though. Yeah, I'm gonna opt up for the beta, guys. I'm gonna opt up for the beta. I'm gonna do that. Wrath this year. So this means we're gonna get Sunwell Plateau soon. Holy cow. I'll definitely make a Death Knight in the pre-patch then. I'll level up Death Knight up in pre-patch and get some stuff done. Re-enable alerts. Oh yeah, thank you. I'll definitely like... Oh my god, like the Dragonflight thing, I think there was some really cool things, but there was also some really bad things. There was no bingo, guys. We didn't get a bingo. Nope. No bingo. Yeah, Wrath recap. I mean, Wrath is coming out this year. They are not having, what is it called? They're adding some more barbershop things, so you can change your character a little bit more. I assume what they referencing to that is you can probably go from male to female, right? You can change your gender on your character. Also, they're gonna be adding what is it called? A boost, obviously, a Wrath boost, so you can be a level 68 boost. You can level a Death Knight in the pre-patch, and it's coming out this year. And they're removing Dungeon Finder, right? For not removing it, but like they're not gonna have it like so it's randoms, no LFG basically. Yeah, so no LFG in Wrath. I think the Wrath news are pretty good. I like the Wrath news. I think, honestly, I'm hyped for that. I think the things they added to that is pretty cool. In terms of the raid, oh, like not the raid. In terms of the new thing, the expansion, I think there were some really cool things and also some really not that cool things, right? Not the biggest fan of the Scaly Boys. I'll turn the alerts on in a sec, by the way. Not a big fan of the Scaly Boys. Must admit, it would have been way cooler if we got like, imagine if we got like the Rock Boys. If they made those Rock Titan people like a playable race, to make them a little bit smaller, and then like a rock guy, like, you know, like a big rock boy, or like a rock girl, right? You have a big fucking rock girl. That would be so sick. That would have been cool as hell. But yeah, we got Scaly Boys. I'm not a big fan of that. We got Docks. Docks are really cool. I think we can all agree on that one. Docks are insane. Talent tree changes, I like that if they do it correctly. Like, if they do it well and it's done nicely, then talent tree changes could be amazing. Professions, more stuff for professions is cool. I like that. I think having professions matter more and be more impactful for the game is definitely a big plus and something I think is badass. And And yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. I am gonna try the new expansion when it comes out, and we'll see how it goes. Obviously, Profession sounds really cool. I agree. The new class seems pretty broken, though. I won't lie.